Hello, my name is Sandra Rivers-Gill, and I am a poet, a playwright, and a performer from Toledo, Ohio. Today, we are going to be creating scrap art and poetry, namely a haiku. So what is a haiku? A haiku is a Japanese form of poetry that deals with nature or any aspect of nature. The word haiku means light verse, meaning a haiku has 3 lines, 3 unrhymed lines. The first line has 5 syllables, the second line has 7 syllables, and the third line has 5 syllables. What do you want to write about? What should you write about? Write about anything in nature. You can write about insects, you can write about oceans rolling in the sea, you can write about leaves falling. So what you want to do is use your words to tell a story. Use your words and the language to create emotion. And use your words to create image. First, you're going to need some supplies. Of course, you're going to need scissors. You're going to need glue stick. If you want to create a mat, there's black paper. And we're going to start with a white sheet of cardstock or poster paper, which is about 8.5 by 11. We don't want to forget our magazines. Okay, so let's get started here. What I'd like to do is create a background. So what I'm going to do is get my glue stick out. And I'm going to glue the area. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to create a frame as a foundation for this scrap art. So it's going to look like this, okay? And I believe the theme of this art project is repetition. So I'm going to start with a scrap of something I found in a magazine. Looks like a little bit of a sky. And I'm going to start and I'm going to put that right on top of this background here. You can think outside the box. Just be creative. And for the middle portion of this, I'm thinking that this might be maybe a beach situation. So I have a little bit of ocean, which I cut out of a magazine, and you have a little bit of sand. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this down toward the middle. I think I want a little bit of swampiness, so I have pre-cut this black color. So we were talking about frogs, and I could not find any frogs in a magazine, not the kind of frog that I like. So I actually created it. So what I did was, for instance, I went to a magazine and found some darker colors, what I thought a frog might look like. And what I did was cut that out into the shape of a frog. And then what I did was add on little nuances. I went and wanted to create a beard for the frog, and I found that. Now I know frogs don't have beards, but my frog does. And I've already preset the eyes. Remember I told you we're doing repetition. So my frogs are singing in the pond, right? And since I already have my poem ready, I'm going to read that to you. Lush little islands create stages for buskers, rapping slick refrains. So not only are these frogs singing, but they are rapping. Okay, so they are having a good time in the pond, right? What we want to do now is actually put on our letters. You can handwrite it, you can type it, but what I find interesting is finding different letters from magazines. So I'm going to take and glue that on. Okay. And here I've already finished out the swamp area, and here's all my repetition, the little circles and swirls, which actually go with the eyes of the frog. And if you want to use a mat, you can always get this size. This is probably a 11 by 14. And you could take your scrap art and poem, and haiku rather, and adhere it to this background. So I like to use the black background because it makes your art pop. So your finished product can be framed as well. So your framing is going to be optional. And what I have is this final look here. Voila. That's it. And that is scrap art and poetry. I hope you learned a lot and a little bit about haiku and a little bit about scrap art as well. So I thank you, and thank you for letting me come into your living room.